You turn your awareness inward, and the world's clamor seems to soften as if someone has closed a door behind you. Inside this hush, there is a precise invitation to notice what gathers in hidden rooms where your name is spoken. This is not panic, it is calm attention. You are told plainly that not all meetings are benign. Some convene to bless, but others assemble in secrecy to impede, to remove, to strip away what you have earned through steady faith and quiet labor. You are reminded that your path to this point was ordered, not random. Something guided you here, and now you are being shown a truth only inward eyes can perceive. Plans are being laid to undermine the blessings you've gained by perseverance, by prayer, by enduring long nights alone. The voice at the center of this stillness urges you to see how subtle these designs are. They are not always loud. They fold into ordinary conversation, form quiet papers, and breed in corners where attention is low. This is not an invitation to fear, but to sober wisdom. You are instructed to remain alert and composed. Outward stillness will be your strength while your inner watchfulness stays sharp. There's strategy and restraint. If you rush to expose or defend, you risk binding yourself to the very scheme they intend. The counsel is precise. Do not react impulsively. Let quiet be your posture. Let observation be your task. Keep notes in the silence of your heart, not as ammunition, but as testimony that a wiser season will reveal. You feel a reassurance sown through the warning. You are not alone in this. What they conspire to do is already known in a realm that sees more than human eyes. The very plotting meant to erase you will be intercepted and turned into a conduit for your rise. The present speaking tells you the structure of lies they build will reveal the builders' hearts. Their whispers, meant to strip you of standing, will instead show their fear and insecurity. You are encouraged to view their actions not as an indictment of you, but as proof that what you carry matters. As you stay in this calm, you sense a tenderness toward your vulnerability. You are not told to harden, but to guard with a discernment. Kindness remains, but it is paired with clear-eyed awareness. Hold gentleness in your actions, but let spiritual perception govern your responses. You are urged to cultivate practices that keep you centered. Silence, intentional prayer, measured conversation, so you will not be lured into defensive chaos that would only validate their narrative. Learn to answer from a place of steadiness rather than emotion. A surprising word comes next. Among those who gather, one conscience will stir. Someone will experience a disquiet that pulls at them from inside, an unease that cannot be smothered. That inner unrest will loosen their resolve and fracture the plan. You are encouraged to not try to incite that movement yourself. Instead, remain steady and let truth work within others. The dismantling will occur because their plot cannot stand under light and conviction. When internal misalignment appears, it will be the hinge that opens a way for your vindication. Remember your origin and your worth. You are claimed by a presence larger than human opinion. Your name was known before you ever spoke it. Inscribed by hands no secret counsel can reach. That inscription cannot be erased. This reframes every exclusion and whisper. They become evidence that you carry influence. Opposition often signals impact. Take it as confirmation, not condemnation. This perspective steadies you. What they try to bury is often precisely what has value. You will be tempted to speak out, to rush explanations, to insist on clearing your name. The voice counsels differently. Preparing your heart in stillness is more powerful than public defense. Resist the urge to perform righteousness. Instead, build inner stability. Trust that the one who watches in hiddenness is already moving. Keep faith in your quiet, and allow the unseen hand to rearrange circumstances on your behalf. There is freedom in refusing to answer every rumor. There is dignity in refusing to validate gossip by responding in haste. The presence assures you the outcome is secure. The covert attempts will not end your journey. They will prepare the stage for your visible advancement. What they intend as removal will become the pathway to prominence. The more covert the attack, the more conspicuous the reversal will be. Let this paradox settle inside you. Their secrecy paves the way for your revelation. When the time comes, the testimony of your quiet endurance will carry weight not because you shouted, but because your life held constancy. So live with intentional pause. When rumors vibrate in the air, maintain your calm. When papers circulate and murmurs form, practice restraint. Speak truth in private prayer and in soft conversation, but save public declaration for a season you did not manufacture. The posture required now is one of patient confidence, a steady interior that refuses to be defined by others' small counsels. Your silence is not submission, it is stewardship of your future. Finally, receive the promise that what is arranged against you will be used to reveal your rising. Their assembly will fracture, and from that fracture new openings will appear. Keep your heart open but guarded. Let gentleness color your face while resolve steadies your hands. The quiet in which you are placed is a protective room, not a prison. Here, your identity is being preserved, refined, and prepared for the moment when you will step out and the world will notice the true account. Breathe, stay inward, trust the truth that holds you. Their plans are limited. Your destiny is not. The hour of your emergence approaches, shaped by the same hands that moved you through seasons when no one could see you. Hold yourself in this quiet the way you would cradle something fragile yet powerful, aware that every breath you take is part of a larger unfolding. You don't rush to interpret. You don't scramble to react. Instead, you begin to understand why the instruction was given so early and so firmly. Be still outwardly, but keep your spiritual perception active. You feel how those two postures, stillness and awareness, are not contradictions, but companions. They create the exact inner space where wisdom can rise without being distorted by fear. You sense the world around you continuing with its noise, its assumptions, its opinions. You feel how easy it would be to slip into old patterns, explaining yourself, defending yourself, trying to correct narratives that were never founded in truth. But something deeper holds you back now, something wiser than impulse. A calm alertness begins to form in you. You realize that stillness is not passivity, it is precision. It is restraint with purpose. It is choosing not to expend energy where it would be wasted. You hear again, this specific time requires deep spiritual comprehension, and you feel the weight of that settle softly inside you, not as a burden, but as a quiet elevation. You're being asked to step into a different layer of awareness, one where you no longer respond to what is loud, but to what is true. One where you recognize that the loudest voices are often the least aligned with reality. One where your inner radiance, your integrity, your steadiness carries more influence than any outward noise. You're shown the reason for the opposition you've been sensing. Not because you lack strength, not because you have done something wrong, but precisely because your presence carries weight that unsettles what is false. You shine in ways others cannot imitate. You anchor in ways others cannot replicate. You move through the world with a truthfulness that reveals what others try hard to hide. And so they gather, not because you harmed them, but because your light exposes the cracks in their intentions. The realization grants you clarity. Their resistance is actually confirmation. Their discomfort is evidence. Their scheming is proof of your impact. You feel the presence guide your attention inward again. They desire your silence, but I did not create you to be muted. You let that truth sink deeper. You were fashioned for expression, for presence, for influence that arises not from volume but from authenticity. You do not need force. Your very being is disruptive to falsehood. But even so, you are being asked not to speak now. Not because your voice lacks power, but because timing is part of strategy. Your voice held too early would be a gift to the wrong ears. So you hold your silence, not out of fear, but out of strength. The stillness becomes your shield. The calm becomes your vantage point. The quiet becomes your authority. While they operate in hurried whispers and anxious planning, you move in deliberate awareness. You feel the presence say, "Remain still, maintain composure, keep listening." And you obey, not because you're intimidated, but because something in your spirit recognizes the wisdom in waiting. The presence shows you something else, how the world's noise has grown overwhelming. So many opinions, so many assumptions, so many unspoken comparisons, so many anxious readings of your intentions by those who never truly tried to understand you. Their discomfort with your unfolding became a reason for their quiet resentment. Their fear of your potential became the soil for their hidden plans. And yet, you are told with unwavering tenderness, "You pose no threat through your speech, my child, but through your very being. You feel the truth of that land in places that once felt bruised. Your worth has never come from effort alone. It comes from essence. That is why your unfolding, your growth, your rising unsettles them. Not because you did anything to provoke them, but because your presence clarifies what they have refused to address within themselves. You do not need to confront them directly. You do not need to defend yourself. You do not need to enter their shadows just to explain why your light exists. You simply stand firm even when silent, and in doing so, you remain aligned with the one who speaks to you now in holy stillness. You're reminded that this message is not general. It is for you alone. Your awareness of this moment was orchestrated. The timing is precise. As soon as they began to form their intentions, a word was sent to you. Before their plans had language, you received discernment. Before their documents were drafted, your spirit was stirred. Before your name was picked apart in their small circle, your identity was fixed in a foundation they cannot alter. You feel the presence guiding you deeper into the meaning of stillness. It becomes clearer. Stillness is not retreat. It is preparation. It is refinement of clarity. It is the strengthening of spirit. It is a sacred act of trust. While they gather in hidden corners, you gather strength. While they speak in veiled tones, you listen to a voice that reveals what they cannot conceal. While they form strategies in shadows, you are being built in light. You are shown that silence is not weakness. It is a chosen weapon, one that keeps you from entanglement, one that preserves your dignity, one that positions you correctly for the moment when truth must be revealed. You sense a shift not in the world but in yourself. You begin to understand how you're being prepared, not by learning to fight but by learning to stand, not by matching their noise but by mastering your quiet, not by proving something to them but by strengthening your alignment with the one who sees everything. You hear, ignoring this communication could jeopardize the safeguarding I have established around you, and you do not take it as a threat. You take it as a reminder of how essential your posture is right now. You're being held, but you must choose to stay in the place where that protection works. You must choose stillness over impulsiveness. You must choose perception over reaction. You must choose attunement over anxiety. You feel the presence reassure you again. Be alert, but do not fear. You hold those two instructions together, realizing how perfectly they balance one another. Alertness without fear becomes discernment. Awareness without panic becomes clarity. Watchfulness without anxiety becomes authority. You begin to trust that your inner senses are not exaggerations. The heaviness you felt, the uneasiness in certain spaces, the discomfort around certain people, it wasn't imagination. It was insight. It was your spirit awakening to movements in the unseen. And now that insight is being confirmed and fortified. You are reminded of your essence. You find joy in difficulty, generosity in scarcity, steadiness under pressure. You bear responsibilities without complaint. And because of that, your name was brought into rooms that were not meant for your harm but became places where others projected their own unrest. Yet, even there, you are watched over. You feel the presence say with a confidence that steadies your heart, "Your purpose is held secure by me." And in that assurance, you settle more deeply into the stillness that protects you. Here, in this quiet, you prepare, not by striving but by listening. Not by proving, but by trusting. Not by matching their pace, but by staying aligned with the one who already knows the outcome. This is your season to hold still. This is your moment to guard your spirit, and in this posture you remain unshaken. You feel the quiet expand around you, not as emptiness, but as a shelter. The kind of shelter that forms when truth steps forward before you even know you need protection. The presence that has been guiding you begins to reveal another layer of what has been happening beyond your sight. You are reminded again, gently, firmly, that nothing spoken in hidden corners escapes divine awareness. Nothing whispered in secret evades the one who listens in holy stillness. And nothing shaped to harm you can move forward without passing through the hands that guard your path. You begin to sense how fully you've been seen, even in the parts of your journey that felt invisible to everyone else. Every moment, you walked into a room unaware that your name had been discussed before you arrived. Every instance where decisions were made without your presence. Every subtle shift in tone that made you question your intuition. None of it was ignored. You hear the presence say with unwavering clarity, "I observed what you could not. I saw what was hidden. I listened when they thought no one was listening." You take in that truth, letting it soften the tension that has lingered in your chest. You realize that the uneasiness you felt recently, the sense that something was off, the inner tightening, the sudden emotional heaviness, was not weakness or fear. It was spiritual awareness awakening, nudging you toward the truth that lay beneath the surface. And now, that truth is being laid out before you with a tenderness that strengthens rather than frightens. The presence continues. They imagine they are hidden, but I am in the room where they gather. I do not simply hear, I influence. You feel the force of that reassurance anchor you. You realize you are not powerless. You are not unprotected. You are not outnumbered. Even in the places you were not invited, you were represented. You were shielded. You were known. And then you are told something surprising, something that shifts the meaning of everything happening around you. What they intended for harm is already being turned into benefit. You breathe slowly, allowing the statement to settle in you like a quiet sunrise. You understand that divine sight is not passive. It is active, protective, strategic. Every plan crafted against you is being reworked, even now, into the very foundation of what will elevate you next. You are reminded of an ancient rhythm, one repeated across time. When hidden schemes rise against someone who walks in truth, the schemes expose more about the schemers than about the one they target. You hear, "I permit seasons of challenge not to harm you, but to reveal who lacks integrity." In that statement, something inside you expands with clarity. You see that this moment is not about your downfall. It is about revelation, exposing false character, unveiling true motives, and strengthening the foundation on which your future will stand. You are told that among those who gather, one person is already conflicted, one conscience is stirring, one heart is unsettled by what they heard. You feel a wave of compassion rise within you, not for their actions, but for the inner turmoil that truth brings when it confronts someone who can still recognize right from wrong. You hear, "They do not understand why peace has left them, but I know. I am speaking to their core." You are reminded not to speak out, not to defend yourself, not to intervene. The turning will happen without your effort. Truth is already doing its work. You feel how deeply the presence is attuned to your emotional landscape. Your fear of losing what you've built, your grief over betrayals, your confusion about why certain people change toward you so suddenly. And yet, you are told again with a gentle authority, this is not your battle to fight. This is your moment to remain still. You hear it clearly. Your stillness is not avoidance, it is alignment. It is allowing divine protection to work without interference. It is trusting that what is unseen is already being rearranged on your behalf. You feel your shoulders relax as the presence speaks over the deeper places within you that have carried silent questions. You are not solitary. You never have been. From the first breath you took, I have been with you, arranging your course, safeguarding your identity, ensuring that nothing designed to erase you could succeed. These words meet you in the inner places that still remember old wounds, times when you felt overlooked, forgotten, easily replaced. You feel those old beliefs being gently dissolved by something truer and stronger. The presence continues, addressing the accusations others projected onto you. Some want you to believe you are insignificant, that your voice lacks weight, that your presence can be removed without consequence. But their desire to sideline you is proof of your radiance. You hear the truth clearly now. Your existence itself exposes what they hide. You don't need to reveal their motives. Your integrity already does it. You don't need to fight them. Their own actions will uncover them. You don't need to wrestle for standing. Your standing was never determined by them. You're told again, your identity was inscribed by me, not by them. And that becomes a grounding truth that wraps around you like warmth. You finally understand. You were never in danger of losing what was never theirs to give. Their approval is not your foundation. Their acceptance is not your anchor. Their attempts to remove you only reveal how deeply your presence unsettles what is false. The presence reminds you, do not contend, do not plead, do not explain. You are instructed to protect your peace, not your reputation, to protect your spirit, not your standing. You are told, what they build will become the pit they fall into. What they speak will reveal their own nature, but you, stay close to me. These words guide you toward a kind of safety that isn't fragile. It is fortified by truth, shielded by purpose, rooted in something unshakable. You feel a stirring in your chest, something soft yet powerful. Perhaps it's recognition. Perhaps it's relief. Perhaps it's the beginning of a sacred confidence forming inside you. You hear, if you feel emotion rising inside, tears, tightness, release, know that this is not just feeling. This is revelation. Something inside you knows it's true. This isn't emotional overwhelm. This is understanding awakening. The presence delivers a final reassurance for this moment. You were never meant to blend in. The resistance you face is not evidence of weakness. It is evidence of purpose. And suddenly, the weight you've been carrying begins to shift. You feel yourself standing, not alone, not exposed, but protected by something far greater than the fears that tried to chase you. You are told, your journey is secure. Your name is preserved. Your purpose is unfolding even now. You breathe that in. You allow it to settle. And slowly, you realize your spirit feels steadier than it has in a long time. Because divine protection is not distant. It is here. It has always been here. And now, you see it clearly. You feel the atmosphere around you thicken with meaning, as if the unseen is leaning closer, ready to reveal a turning point you didn't know was already in motion. The presence that has been guiding you, steady, watchful, unshakable, begins to draw back a veil, showing you how every hidden conversation, every quiet resistance, every scheme whispered in rooms where you were not invited, has begun to lose its structure. What once looked like a stable threat is already unraveling, and the unraveling did not begin with their weakness. It began with your stillness. You hear the presence speak with clarity. The very path they intended for your downfall is the path I am using to elevate you. The words land not as a hopeful thought but as an undeniable truth. You begin to sense how divinely orchestrated the reversal is. While they gathered in secret, thinking they held power in silence, a different silence, your silence, became the ground on which divine intervention could work freely. You're reminded that one among them felt unsettled, the one whose conscience trembled beneath the weight of their collective intention. And now the presence explains why that matters. I am working through the one who hesitates. Their unease is not random. It is intervention. The shift has already begun within that person. They feel the dissonance in their spirit, an inner alarm they cannot shake. They may not understand its source, but you do now. Their hesitation is the seed of dismantling. You are urged not to confront, not to question, not to push. Do not speak now, the presence says. Let truth work without interruption. You're reminded again that speaking prematurely could entangle you unnecessarily in a battle that is already being won on your behalf. Your restraint is not silence of defeat, it is silence of strategy. You feel another truth surface, what they have said, what they have planned, what they have convinced themselves they can accomplish. None of it has the authority they think it does. The presence speaks with a certainty that leaves no room for doubt. They believe they are directing the outcome, but I am the one who authors and concludes. Those words settle deep into you like anchors. You understand now that the anxiety you felt was never a sign of vulnerability. It was a sign that something sacred was shifting. You are shown the inner workings of what is unfolding. Their structure, built from untruth, shaped by fear, supported by fragile alliances, is weakening from the inside. The presence explains, I have entered the very space where they formed their plans. I do not simply witness, I influence. You sense that influence moving like light into places where shadows once felt safe. Their whispers, once confident, now feel unstable. Their certainty is cracking. Their unity is dissolving. The presence reveals a deeper purpose behind this moment. This challenge was permitted not to break you, but to reveal them. And immediately everything makes more sense. You realize the exposure is not meant to humiliate, but to differentiate. To show who walks with truth and who operates from fear. The situation becomes a mirror held up to intention, and what is reflected will speak louder than anything you could have argued or explained. You're reminded that the documents, the strategies, the organized efforts that were arranged against you, even these cannot override what has been divinely spoken over your life. You hear, your identity is not under their authority. What I have set apart cannot be undone. These words ease something deep in your spirit. They remind you that authority rooted in falsehood cannot touch what is rooted in divine intention. Then comes a revelation that stirs something powerful within you. They are unknowingly fulfilling a role in your elevation. It feels almost surreal, but you sense the truth of it instantly. Their attempt to push you out is the very motion that is propelling you upward. Their intent to silence you has created the space where your true voice will emerge. Their desire to remove you has made room for the new place being prepared for you. You hear the presence say with deliberate calm, they believed they were concluding your narrative, but I am beginning the next chapter. It's not poetic, it's factual. The turning has already begun. What they tried to close off has become a corridor leading you forward, and you're urged to be attentive to the signs that follow. You feel something stirring inside you, emotion rising in ways you didn't expect. A tightness, a sudden warmth behind your eyes, a heaviness lifting. The presence affirms this. This feeling is not merely emotion. It is my spirit revealing truth deep within you. And in that moment, everything feels clearer. You sense you're stepping into a part of your journey that was always meant for you, even though the path to reach it has been steep and shadowed. The presence continues, explaining why you felt such resistance, why burden seemed heavier than reasonable, why certain individuals turned cold without explanation. The purpose within you shines brightly. That brightness unsettles what is false, and suddenly what felt personal no longer feels like a flaw in you but a reflection of the impact you carry. Those who act against you do not truly oppose you. They oppose the truth you embody. Then comes a statement that shifts your understanding even further. While they attempted to silence you in secret, I was preparing to make you visible. These words send a quiet tremor through you. You realize that what felt like loss was actually repositioning. What felt like rejection was realignment. What felt like delay was construction. The presence speaks with confidence. You are not being pushed aside. You are being brought into view. And in that revelation, every confusing circumstance begins to take shape. You are reminded once more to resist the impulse to react, to defend, to fight. Your struggle is not with people, the voice says. It is with the unseen forces that resist truth. And in that moment, you feel a profound shift inside you, a release from the need to understand motives or justify your place. The presence assures you, I will stand for you. not with vengeance, but with transformation. And you trust it, because you feel the truth of it in the deepest part of yourself. You realize you are being protected not only from harm, but from being misaligned with your purpose. Then comes a vision, not literal, but sensed. The moment when everything shifts, when what was arranged against you collapses, when what was withheld returns, when your name is spoken with respect instead of suspicion. You hear clearly. You have not lost your place. You are about to be moved into a greater one. The presence continues. Their plan to remove you triggered the beginning of your elevation. And you understand now. You never needed their acceptance. You needed divine alignment. And now you have it. You feel a calming belief rise in you. Something soft but unshakable. Your name is safe. Your purpose is intact. Your future is defended. And what was meant to harm you is becoming the platform of your rising. You breathe deeply, letting the truth root itself inside you. This is the turning. This is the dismantling. This is the moment. Everything shifts in your favor. You stand now in a quieter place within yourself, not because the world around you has softened, but because something inside you has settled. What once felt like uncertainty has become clarity, and what once felt like threat has become revelation. You sense the presence drawing nearer, not to warn this time, but to prepare you, to ready you for the ground you are about to step onto. This ground is different. It is not borrowed space, not tolerated space, not space someone else must permit you to enter. It is space being given to you directly, intentionally, lovingly. You hear the presence speak with a steady gentleness. Now, my child, prepare yourself. What is coming next requires a different posture than the one you have held until now. You feel the significance of that invitation. You've been still, you've been watchful, you've been silent, you've listened deeply. But now, the quiet is shifting from defense to preparation. You are reminded that your forward movement will no longer depend on human approval or the choices of those who gathered against you. You hear, the way ahead will come directly from me. And that truth feels like clean air filling your lungs. The pressure you once carried, trying to earn understanding, trying to prove worth, trying to secure your place, begins to fall off you, piece by piece. It becomes clear that the path meant for you has already been cleared, and your only task now is to walk it with steadiness. The presence continues, soft but unwavering. Do not rush to speak. Do not rush to defend yourself. This moment requires inner preparation, not explanation. You take that in, feeling how deeply it resonates. You realize that your instinct to clarify yourself, to fix misunderstandings, to prove your innocence is no longer needed. Your spirit feels lighter with this understanding. The weight of needing to be heard by those who never intended to listen is removed. You sense how carefully the presence prepares you for what is next. Let go of the need to gain permission from those who never had the authority to grant it. The words are simple, but they land with truth that stretches through your entire being. You feel something release inside you, something old, something tied to past environments where you had to shrink to fit, mute yourself to be tolerated, soften your brilliance so others could feel comfortable. But now the presence makes it clear. You no longer need to dim your light to survive. You are made to shine without hesitation. You are told to repeat quietly within yourself, I no longer need permission from those I have outgrown. A calm strength rises in you. The phrase feels like a doorway opening, and you step through it with a steadiness you didn't know you possessed. You begin to understand that even the resistance you faced was confirmation that you are stepping into something beyond what others could see. The presence shows you that the elevation ahead is not about pride or power. It is about alignment, purpose, and the unfolding of what was written for you long before your challenges began. You are not shrinking, the voice says. You are stepping forward with a quiet certainty I have placed within you. You feel how deeply this aligns with the truth of who you have been becoming. Your growth has not been loud. It has been steady, inner, sacred. The presence continues. They did not break you. They revealed you. and something inside you loosens, as if the tightness you've been carrying finally exhales. You realize your endurance was not silent suffering, it was transformation. Every trial carved depth, every disappointment shaped wisdom, every misunderstanding forged resilience. You begin to see that the version of you standing here now would not exist without the path behind you, and that realization brings peace instead of regret. You're told that new individuals are approaching your life, people who will not drain you, ignore you, or misinterpret you, but will honor who you are, support what you're building, and join you in a way that restores your belief in genuine connection. These are not random people, the presence assures. They are answers. They are sent. You feel the tenderness of that promise, like a balm over places in your heart that once felt isolated. You sense that even the way you will experience the divine presence is shifting. It will not only be as the one who rescues you from harm, but as the one who blesses you openly. What is coming will not only protect, it will replenish. Your spirit feels a soft, steady warmth as you imagine this new experience. Walking into spaces without shrinking, speaking without fear, resting without guilt, receiving without doubt. Then the presence gives you something to practice, something that will shape your next steps. Establish calm where you dwell. You understand that this is not about silence alone. It is about cultivating an inner environment that is stable, centered, and aligned. When fear presses, choose stillness. When doubt whispers, choose clarity. When old worries attempt to pull you back into anxiety, choose breathing, grounding, remembering. You hear, the way you live now must reflect what you are becoming, not what you have survived. And in that instruction, you feel your posture shifting. You sense the truth. Your words, your choices, your attitudes, your inner responses, all must speak from the new ground, not the old wounds. You're told to let go of bitterness, not because others deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve peace. Release them to free yourself. The presence reassures. You will not lose by letting go. You will gain by making room for what is ahead. Every release becomes an opening. Every opening becomes a blessing. Then you are instructed to honor even the simplest parts of your day, to work with intention, to speak gently, to stand fully in moments that once felt small. Your ordinary steps now carry extraordinary purpose. You realize that this season will not be built by grand gestures, but by consistency, by alignment, by daily choices rooted in clarity. You hear the presence speak with a certainty that silences every lingering doubt. You are not overlooked. You are recognized. You are not behind. You are right on time. You are not waiting anymore. You are moving forward. You are told that the place being prepared for you is firm, stable, honoring, aligned with your calling. You will not return to the space where others tried to diminish you. You will step into a place built specifically for you, where your presence will not be tolerated. It will be valued. You hear the final truth rise like a quiet anthem in your spirit. Walk gently now, but walk with resolve. You are stepping into a new ground, and nothing can obstruct what I have already prepared. And as you breathe in this moment, you realize the shift is complete. You are no longer the one waiting. You are the one becoming.